Brother Tarek when I went around to the back and came back. This old coon, him and the medical crew, I don't know if you remember, they lived over by where 450, and you turn right there at 67. I tell you what, you remember the Panamanian crew? Sharifa and them, or whatever they was, and all them black-looking people? Well, and then they had the doctor like guy with him. So I asked, where's it? Oh, he's got I say, he retired yet? Now this guy, and the other one that was that other day, when things start acting a little funny, all of a sudden these guys been sitting here all this time, and then they flip Salafi back in the early 90s. I said, dog, that's deep. And then, of course, I mean, I'm not saying I knew all the time, but you do know that everybody that get with you, they going to have something with them. Anyway, so the doctor, I used to go to ISNA every year. This must have been 90 or 91. So he said, oh, you don't have the right kind of car to go on that long trip. It was going to be in Ohio. So you could use my car. I said, that's great. So I loaded the car up with books. You remember I used to pack that stuff up? You'd think I was moving to Mars. And they didn't know how I got all of that stuff in those cars and station wagons. Well, when you would look at my booth, you would think that I had a big U-Haul truck full of stuff, and I just knew how to put it in the car. And then back up on A Street, you know, being young, man, I'd take a 60-pound box of books, run downstairs, run upstairs, and when it's time to load up, I could take them same books, run up them stairs. Right now, I just look at them, I say, I ain't going up there, you know. What if the water's on? I don't care. I ain't going them stairs. And now I know how other people feel. But anyway, the point is this, is that I was on, you know, they got Lorry Caverns out there. Lorry Caverns, I think. And you go on Route 50, you can go all the way out there. And so instead of going up to I-70 and going across to Ohio, I said the Route 50 was a few blocks away from where I was out there in Manassas. Technically, it wasn't Manassas. I think it was. But anyway, so I jumped on the road, got up early that morning, still dark, had a cup of coffee, top shape, and hit the road. And then Route 50, though, do a lot of turns and this, that, and another. And the way I figure it is, the CIA had put so many turns on the car. You know, you turn this way, you turn that way, you turn that way, and they had it set up for Route 7, I-70, going to Ohio. And set up for I-70 because I never said I was going to go Route 50. I never even thought about it. I just made a decision, hey, I'll go Route 50. And then I'll catch 70 up there somewhere, or way out there. Instead of driving around and catching I-70, I go now. So, zoop, all them turns. And so all them turns, you're definitely not going to go to sleep. Because everywhere you go, it's a little turn up there, another little turn. So you're not going to go to sleep, especially you just got up, fresh as a daisy and tip-top shape, and had coffee, and coffee just had you just. So all of a sudden, I felt the right wheel. It happened so fast, and that I was off to the road. Then when I was off the road, where they have them down drains, that thing was 6 feet deep and it was covered with grass. So it was pitch black right there. So I walked down there and I stepped in that. And when you hit the bottom, you could tell that boy is broke. Where you could tell whether it's a sprain. You say, oh, that boy. So I went to the hospital. But anyway, when I told the brother, that's the doctor right now, and I mentioned it when I was over there the other day. I mentioned. I picked it up when you said it. Yeah, I mentioned that. So, yeah. No, I mentioned that so you would hear that I'm mentioning these things because, see, everybody come around here got a history. So I'm just pointing out the history. I said, yeah. And they both came and picked me up. When they came pick me up in West Virginia, I said to the brother, I said, yeah, something. He was talking about insurance. I said, yeah, something happened with that right front wheel that just took me off the road right away. He said, don't tell nobody that. I said, okay, I won't tell them. Well, why not? That's when I knew. Well, I mean, you could know all the people from Panama, in the Army, funny acting, you know what I mean? And and then coming from, I expected certain things to happen when I got here, and everything happened like expectation. But the point I'm making is, we expected things to happen, but we didn't expect boss man to zip us off the highway and have us turn over. If we was on I-70 going that fast and that right wheel clicked, because remember, the way we figured it's clicked up, okay? Once you make this many turns, that many turns, and they didn't calculate it, he'll be out on the open highway. As soon as he make that, whop, and the wheel might lock or flip them board with all that kind of stuff, flip him over, we'll get rid of the brother. So I went the other way. And it ain't nothing but turns, click, boom. Anyway, that's what I thought. I thought it that very day. And I knew something was up because when I got in the police came and he took me to the hospital. And so I said, well, what happened right there? He said, oh, you went to sleep. I said, sleep my behind. This is what he's saying. He said, see that mark there? I said, I sure do. And a nigga, one thing a nigga wasn't, was sleep. Whatever happened, it happened. It was a split second, and there I was. So I knew he was in on it. They took me to the hospital, and you could see I got a knot on my leg. They didn't fix my leg, my thing right. The way the tibia goes down, whatever. And now the way they fix it, the crackers, it's sealed to it's okay, no problem. No problema. Yeah. So, anyway, I wanted to come to D.C. and get, so they got D.C. a ride. Boy, look at here. No, look, I'm doing what I wanted. I'm doing what I want to do. I want to do this. Now, nobody else even if they hear 2% of what happens, oh, good God Almighty. I said, but this is exciting. Nigga don't need that much excitement. And all they could see is poverty and this and that. And it's a blessing. It's a big blessing, and everything that they would hold against you is harmful. Okay. My two sons, when they was younger, they'd be with me, like you probably heard them on the phone. They would look and say, yeah, Dad, such and such and such, such and such and such. Well, after 10 or 15 years, the police be done got to them. And they be done let them know, and they says, see, your dad, he won't live like you want. Y'all want him to sell dope and have big cars, and he don't want to do that. He want you to go all across the country riding in the car, raising money that he don't spend on y'all. He spend it on other stuff. And because they tell him that they be talking to him and they relate what now don't tell your father that we said this. Yeah. Now then when they accept certain things, then that means that they don't I put it like this, to make it brief, each one of them showed me their photo album. And all their friends are dead. That's when it clicked. Because see, like say in 86, when I make up my mind to do this stuff, they just really gonna boost in on them. And and guess what? I gave khutbah some years ago and I said that, and I told them, I say, Allah saved your life. I said, the white man sent y'all to prison, all your friends, you don't have anybody alive on your picture albums. Neither one of them. But y'all. I said, a white man, it's just like taking a young guy 25 years ago, 25, 30 years ago out of this D.C. and send him away. And at that time, rest in peace was everywhere you looked around here, right? That's the way it was in Oakland. They didn't destroy my son's life, they saved their life. Because they put him in prison. And they're the only ones on their photo albums. Nobody, I'm telling you, nobody is alive but them. And then I realized that their lifestyle and everything, they would wear them big T-shirts and throw them down. I'd go by and pick them up and wash them and wear them. That's why I got my clothes from them. Everything I had in those days, they'd buy it, all them expensive shirts and throw them away. They would wear them once. Shoot, I'd come back, put them boys in the machine. Shoot, and then my son, he had one of them mob cars. It was one of them four-door Caprices that they was driving in them days, And he had that rim license plate. It had the one that dies with the most toys wins. I said, this nigga need to go to the pen. Because he don't understand nothing. Right? He was fully, if he was left alone and the way he lived, either one of them, if they were left alone, if their own devices, the numbers, it's possible that they would still be here, but the numbers don't line up like that, right? The associations don't line up like that. My son, the oldest one, he said, Dad, yeah, I was up on the porch talking to his homeboys at their spot. And another crew came by. He said, yeah, let me holler at you, man. He came down off the porch. This is another group of friends. And they sprayed all them Negroes on the porch. Now, that's one group of friends. And I told him, I said, and you didn't get that wasn't no sign or nothing. That they sprayed the porch. That somebody in that game was close enough to you to jeopardize himself. To say, hey, man, let me holler at you a minute. And then the other niggas spray the porch and that don't have no effect. No, I said, nigga, you just slow. I said, just go on about your business. I said, I never did call either one of y'all names like stupid or slow because of the Pygmalion effect. I said, but there's something missing. If that don't give you no, like a little sign. Maybe this life I'm living, hey, maybe that was something let me know that this ain't. And maybe I'll go. Now, I used to listen to them signs. After 3 or 4, I would listen real loud. And I got down to where 1 or 2 would be enough. And I looked around and I found out nobody else was paying attention to all them signs in their life. All the stuff that was happening, they just keep on driving. Slow, dangerous curve, don't go too fast, you'll tilt over. Shoot. Cliff, they just and that really happened in life. That they don't do it now.